Look, I know what a lot of you are sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, this is absolutely nuts. Holy crap, we have some breaking news to talk about, and I don't mean this could happen in 2027 or 2026. It's being said and stated that Clemson and Florida State could join the SEC as soon as 2023. One of my very good and close sources, Brett McMurphy, he's done a ton of work for ESPN. He's also backed this statement up. And whoa, hold on. I already know some of you are saying, Matt, Clemson isn't going to join the SEC. Well, guess what? Clemson's running back, Will Shipley, he says otherwise. This is absolutely insane because I figured, yeah, the SEC, they would try to get Clemson in maybe 5, 6, or 7 years, but I didn't think they was going to try to get them right now. But you see, what's happening is the SEC, they're not going to sit around and let the Big Ten get all these powerhouses. And with Clemson being relatively close to the SEC, well, heck, they're basically in the Southeast, and they're a big-time and major program, they'd fit in perfect with the SEC. And I know we got a bunch of Clemson fans watching the channel, and you may hate the SEC and the SEC, you may hate Clemson, but I'm an SEC fan, and I'm on board. Bring them along. We want them. Hey, man, as an SEC fan, bring on all the powerhouses. Let's make this conference bigger and better. And we might as well get Florida State, too. I know they're not too good, but maybe they eventually could get back there one day. The only other school in the ACC that I would personally like to see in the SEC would be Miami. Everybody else, you can keep them. Oh, man, you already know we got a lot of stuff to talk about and go over in this video. But real quick, who's bringing you content like this? Nobody. So if you're new to the channel or you simply watching and not subscribed, consider joining our family. I think it's something like 50% of the people watching the videos, you're not subscribed. I'm not ashamed to say it like some of these other YouTubers. It really helps out the channel whenever you subscribe, and I greatly appreciate it. This is going to be a good video. Get you a snack, get your popcorn, get you a meal, whatever you like to do when you watch a video. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. Man, you would think in the middle of summer, July 2nd, when no sports are going on, there would be nothing to talk about. But you'd be wrong. I am just so happy as a college football fan because this sport has been so entertaining the past 2 years. When you sit back and think about what's happened in the past year or two, you had Lincoln Riley sabotage Oklahoma, screw them over. You got Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban barking at each other. We got the NIL, the transfer portal, and now a mega conference. Or not a mega conference, my bad. It looks like there's going to be 2 mega conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten. I saw this tweet on Twitter. Somebody tagged it to me, and it's going viral. It's got like 30,000 likes. Colby Connor said, we are a few years away from 5 and 6. UCLA battling 5 and 6 Michigan for bowl eligibility, while 4 and 7 Texas is fresh off a loss to Vanderbilt. Nah, that last part is crazy. Losing to Vanderbilt, that's got to be the biggest insult of all time. You want to know what's even more sad about that? I can't say that person who tweeted that's crazy because, may I remind you, Texas lost to Kansas last year, which is worse than Vanderbilt. Well, maybe Kansas isn't as bad as Vanderbilt, but for the past 10 years, they've both sucked. Anyways, getting back on topic with the main focal point of this video, last night the rumors started going around that the SEC was going to target Clemson and Florida State. I'm going to show you a picture right here, and you're going to notice it also says Virginia and North Carolina. I have seen the North Carolina and Virginia one going around, but the main one that's got a lot of traction is that the SEC wants Clemson and they want them bad. I mean, can you blame Greg Sankey? Clemson is an awesome team and program right now. What Dabo Swinney has done at Clemson, which was not a powerhouse before he got there, and they were known as quote-unquote Clemsoning, which means quote-unquote choking games, it's incredible. Do I like Dabo Swinney? Not really. I'm not the biggest fan, but you gotta respect what he's done. He's got 2 freaking championships and beat Nick Saban multiple times. You can't hate on that. After doing some more research, here's where things really get interesting, and I mean really confusing, so you gotta pay attention. I don't want to overcomplicate this. I want to dumb it down the best way I can so everybody can understand this. All of these schools right now in the ACC, they are under a Miranda rights contract which runs through 2036, not 2026, 2036, which theoretically means they're not supposed to leave the conference before that contract's up and they make a new one. But as we all know, in the great country of America, contracts are meant to be broken. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and from everything I've gathered, it looks like the ACC is not going to trap them in and not let them go somewhere else. and more than likely they will be able to leave before 2036. Yes, there is a contract, but like I've said, contracts get broken all the time. I know that a lot of you are sitting there wondering, yo, Matt, how are they going to get out of this contract? Are the ACC or the people that are running the ACC, are they just going to let them walk away? That's a good question, and we don't have all the answers, but from everything I've seen, the ACC right now is negotiating a buyout deal to pretty much, to sum it up, buy out not ACC, but buy out Clemson, Florida State, and maybe possibly North Carolina and Virginia, but I don't really know too much about that situation. The only thing I've heard is they want Florida State and Clemson really bad. Those two make a lot of sense. No disrespect to North Carolina and Virginia, but they don't really feel like the SEC to me. I'm not saying I wouldn't get used to them joining the SEC, but they wouldn't fit in as good as Clemson. And like I stated earlier in this video, it's being said it could happen as early as 2023. That would shake up everything because Oklahoma and Texas, they're not even going to join until 2024. Look, I know what a lot of you are sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, this is absolutely nuts. Trust me, I get it. I think it's nuts too. But 2 years ago, we didn't think what is happening now would be happening. If you would have told me 2 years ago, or heck, scratch that, 2 months ago, that USC was going to be in the Big Ten, I'd have thought you were on drugs. So for all those people who think this has no chance or possibility of happening, you're flat out wrong. And I want to make this very clear. I'm not making this stuff up. As you know, I'm the messenger. I'm reporting on the news, and all these sources, and a lot of them are credible, are saying this might happen, and it could happen, and it looks like it will happen. Here's what one of these sources who works for ESPN had to say. Even by adding Oklahoma and Texas, the SEC is not going to sit back and watch the Big Ten and let things happen. That's what I'm talking about. Greg Sankey, no, he acts on stuff. He's not going to sit around and let the Big Ten get all these great schools. It's also been stated, I'm just going to pull this out of an article to show you word for word, the SEC would likely target ACC schools such as Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, or Virginia, sources said. However, those schools would have to find a way out of the ACC's grant of rights, which doesn't expire until 2036. Also, going down this article, this is interesting. Maybe the SEC pursues Oklahoma State to join Oklahoma in the league or adds another Big 12 school. And this is what I'm harping on this entire video. Even though you think it's nuts, I think it's nuts, quote unquote, they also stated everything that seemed impossible just a few years ago is now a possibility. I want you to understand this. Nothing is off the tables right now in college football. And when you actually think about it, is it absurd for Clemson to join the SEC? No, they're a neighboring school. And they're pretty much in the Southeastern Conference already. That's not even a big deal compared to USC joining the freaking Big Ten. The only part that would really shock me is if they do join as early as 2023. I just don't understand how that would happen with the scheduling, and then it's just a big hassle behind the scenes that many people are going to have to deal with. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't really care about the Big 12 because that conference, they're pretty much falling apart at this point. I hate to say this, I really do, but once Oklahoma and Texas leaves, they're irrelevant. Or maybe not irrelevant, I do apologize for saying that, that was being ignorant, but they're not going to be as highly regarded. And with all this stuff going on with the Pac-12, SEC, ACC, and Big 10, the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, and I'll show you right here, he's going to go look for new members. But the difference, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but the difference with his new members, he's going after schools like Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, maybe BYU. Oh, wait, my bad. BYU, they're joining. I read too far on that sentence, but you get what I'm trying to say. Look, I don't even know what's going to happen with the Big 12. I quit keeping up with them when they announced that Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF are going to join. No disrespect to those teams. Well, actually, it is disrespect. You can take it how you want, but nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about Cincinnati. Nobody cares about Houston. Nobody cares about UCF. They'll never be able to compete with the big boys, so there's no reason even talking about them. Here's what somebody also had to say. This is a different source. They stated, "We're not sitting back this time. That killed us in the past. We're looking to strengthen our conference." And that said person is referring to the Big 12. Me personally, in my humble opinion, I think the best bet for the Pac-12 and the Big 12 right now would be to combine as a conference. I think they should just make one mega conference with the scrappings they got left from all the schools leaving. And then the SEC, we know they're going to have a mega conference, and you also got the Big 10. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to bring this up. Under that post talking about Clemson could potentially join the SEC, Will Shipley, their running back, tweeted out, or not tweeted out, but he commented the eye emojis. That's all the proof you need to show you that this looks like it could happen. And also, somebody in the comment section said, well, there goes Clemson's reign. I don't have to sit up here and tell you this, it's common knowledge. If Clemson joins the SEC, they're going to have a harder path to the championship game in the conference and the national championship game. The ACC in the past 7 or 8 years has been completely dominated by Dabo Swinney. Like, it's not even close. In a down year last year, Clemson still was one of the best teams in the conference. I'll stand on this till the day I die. You put that Clemson team last year in the SEC, I don't know if they win 6 games. There was like a 6 or 7 game stretch where they couldn't even score over 25 points, and they were winning some of those games because of their defense. I joke about the Pac-12 being a joke and extremely weak, but the ACC, they're right there with them. You take Clemson out of the ACC the past 7 or 8 years, they're about as bad as the Pac-12. Now that I think about it, let me know in the comment section. Do you think Dabo Swinney would actually want to go to the SEC? I don't see why he would. That would make his journey to the championship 10 times harder. It's the same reason Lincoln Riley didn't take the LSU job. Why would you compete in the SEC where it's a grind every week when you can go to the Pac-12 and just have cupcakes and cakewalks? And also living in California, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The SEC wants Clemson, but does Clemson want the SEC? That's a good conversation right there, but I think Dabo Swinney, he'd be up for the challenge. I want to keep this video short and sweet. I am very curious, so let me know your thoughts on everything down below, but peace, man.